All right, let's dive into a legal case that honestly sounds more like a thriller. This is the wild, true story of Merlinda Olaybar, a woman who had to prove to the highest court in the land that she wasn't married to a man she had never, ever met. I mean, just imagine this for a second. You're about to marry the love of your life, right? You go to get the license, and the government just tells you, sorry, you can't. You're already married. To a complete stranger. It sounds absolutely impossible, but this is exactly what happened to Merlinda Olaybar. So here's the setup. The year is 2007. Merlinda goes to apply for a marriage license, and bam, she hits a brick wall. Official records claim she's already married, which kicks off this years-long legal battle just to reclaim her own name, her own identity. So how on earth did this all begin? Well, it all started with a single piece of paper that completely turned Merlinda's life upside down. It all started with a totally routine document check. To marry her boyfriend, Merlinda needed something called a Certificate of No Marriage, a CNOMAR. But the one she got said the exact opposite. It claimed she was already married to a Korean national named Yi Son-hyun, and that this supposed wedding happened way back in 2002. The problem? She had absolutely no idea who this man was.
You'd think correcting an obvious fraud would be simple, right? Well, think again. When Merlinda went to court, she hit a massive roadblock. The government itself objected, and they argued that her request was way more complicated than it looked.
And this is where the legal battle really begins. Merlinda filed a petition to simply cancel a fraudulent entry, like erasing a typo in the record books. But the government saw it differently. They argued she was actually trying to get a marriage declared void, a full-blown declaration of nullity. So in their eyes, she wasn't just fixing a typo, she was trying to tear a whole chapter out of the book. The government's whole point was pretty straightforward. They thought this was a backdoor annulment. They believed she was trying to get around the really complex marriage laws by using a simple correction procedure, basically hiding a major nullity case in plain sight. So, with the legal battle lines drawn, Merlinda couldn't just say it wasn't her. She had to prove it. And this is how she started building her case, one convincing piece at a time. And the evidence she brought? It was overwhelming. First off, a rock-solid alibi. She was at work in Makati on the day she supposedly got married in Cebu. Second, a court employee actually testified that the woman at the wedding was not Merlinda. She even had a very likely suspect, a travel agent she'd given her personal information to for a passport application. And then came the knockout blow. A forensic document examiner looked at the marriage contract and confirmed it. The signature was a total forgery. That was it. The key piece of evidence was officially, scientifically, a fake. So this whole mess went all the way up to the Philippine Supreme Court. It was up to them to finally untangle this legal knot and deliver the final say. The entire case really boiled down to this one central question. Was this a simple correction of a record, or was it a hidden annulment case? The Supreme Court's answer here was going to set a major precedent. Okay, so the legal concept that unlocked this whole puzzle was something called an adversary proceeding. Now that sounds complicated, but it's not. All it means is a full trial where everybody involved gets to present evidence and argue their side of the story. It just makes sure everyone gets heard before a judge makes a final call. So the Supreme Court looked at what had actually happened in the lower courts. They saw that all the right people were notified, evidence was presented, witnesses testified, her case had already been a full-blown trial, and because of that, it met the standard for an appropriate adversary proceeding, which meant her original petition to just correct the record was the right move all along. And the court's logic was just so simple and elegant. They said, look, Merlinda can't be trying to nullify a marriage because there was no marriage to begin with. You can't cancel something that never existed. All she was asking for was to correct a fraudulent record to make it show the truth. Now, this decision was so much more than just a win for one woman. It actually created a vital legal path for anyone else who finds themselves in this kind of terrifying situation. So, why does this case really matter to all of us? Because the court essentially created a legal shield for victims of identity theft. It confirmed that they have a direct way to fix falsified records without having to jump through the impossible hoop of annulling a fake marriage that never even happened. And in the end, this case gives us a really clear roadmap for justice. It confirms that a victim can file a petition to correct a fraudulent record. And as long as you include everyone involved and present your evidence in a full trial, the courts have the power to just cancel that fake entry and restore the truth. It's a pathway.
Merlinda Olaybar's case is such a powerful reminder that our identity isn't just who we are, it's also what our official records say we are. And it leaves us with a really critical question for our digital age. As identity theft gets more and more sophisticated, what new safeguards do we need to make sure that the story of our lives, the one told by official documents, can't be stolen and rewritten by a complete stranger?